All right, and now jumping over and talking about the running backs for waivers this week. It's a bit hit or miss based on your league. Specifically, a lot of the players that should be getting a massive waiver target this week should be rostered in most formats. So we got Chase Edmonds featured here, and obviously you guys know I'm going to talk about Alexander Mattison and Justin Jackson. Most leagues, these guys should be rostered. So if you're in need of a running back, this isn't your week, unfortunately, unless you're in a league that allowed these guys to stay on waivers for whatever reason. Alexander Mattison should have been owned by the Dalvin Cook owner from day one. And if he's not, and if someone else has him, good on you. And if he's out there on the waiver wire, this one's really need dependent. I know if you are the person that owns Dalvin Cook, you're probably going to have to spend everything you got to get Mattison. It doesn't look like Cook is going to be out longer than a week, but we've seen this before, where once the injury seal breaks, it just continues to get worse as the season goes on. Hopefully that's not the case. It looks like they're going to give him the week off. Alexander Mattison will be the starter in week 6 versus the Falcons, and then they have a bye week in week 7. So hopefully by week 8, Dalvin Cook will be back to full strength, and we won't have to worry about Alexander Mattison for much longer. So that's why I say it's need dependent. If you need a running back this week and you just need to try to manufacture a win, you got to go hard on the waiver wire to get Mattison. If you don't, I would still put a price enforcement bid out there in case everyone's assuming they won't get him. But if you don't have Cook and you wouldn't need to start Mattison this week and he only ends up giving you 1 week, I'm hesitant to throw 50% of my fab dollars down on a guy that you could potentially only use for 1 week. So do with this as you will. I think Chase Edmonds, honestly, is the guy I would be more excited about if I'm not in desperate need of a running back in week 6. Chase Edmonds has looked dominant compared to Kenyon Drake. Yes, Kenyon Drake is still getting the carries, which seems frustrating at this point. Chase Edmonds had 3 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown, but he had 5 catches on 6 targets again for 56 yards. Kenyon Drake has only had 6 targets on the entire season. Chase Edmonds is clearly the running back that they want to use in the passing game, and those are more valuable touches for fantasy purposes. He still has been below a 50% snap share, but up to this point has clearly been the more explosive back. Just give him some time. If Kenyon Drake goes down to an injury, Chase Edmonds is an instant league winner. You can probably get him for a bit cheaper this week if all 3 of these guys are out there. Then Justin Jackson had himself a really good day yesterday, proved that he is actually the running back to own there instead of Josh Kelly. Went 15 carries for 71 yards, 5 catches on 6 targets for 23 yards, and a 60% snap share, but looked far superior to Josh Kelly. So we'll see if Kelly can have a bounce back game. I know the Saints have a pretty good run defense, but Justin Jackson looked pretty good out there. So if he's out there, definitely need to prioritize him as well. And he's someone that you'll be able to use for a few weeks. Obviously, he's on bye this week, so bear that in mind. If you're looking for a spot start, he's not going to help you in week 6. But going forward, Austin Eckler should be out for at least another 2 to 3 weeks, maybe longer, dealing with that grade 2 hamstring strain. So Justin Jackson could be a middle of the season boost to your roster that you need to get back into contention. Okay, and then probably not, but with the game getting suspended last week, there's a chance that whoever had picked up Damian Harris in the previous week dropped him for another option. So if Damian Harris is out there, just reminding you guys, the last time he played, he had 17 carries for 100 yards, and that was them easing him back into the offense going against the Kansas City Chiefs. We know all throughout training camp, Damian Harris was getting rave reviews from everyone involved in the organization. Beat reporters were all raving about Damian Harris, and not just his carries, but also his ability to be a pass catcher. So I'm going to be aggressive. If Damian Harris is out there on the waivers this week, I think he ends up being a steal this week because you probably don't even need to spend that much on him. I just want to make sure I get him if he's out there. And hopefully you guys stashed him last week and just kept him on your bench. But if he's on the waiver wire, you got to go after Damian Harris. If we're looking for a couple upside stashes, guys that are truly handcuffs, but I think would have really good upside if Aaron Jones or Josh Jacobs goes down. Devontae Booker looks like he is playing that James Washington role that helped people win championships last year when Josh Jacobs missed the final couple games of the season. We've already seen Josh Jacobs leave the field 3 times during a game up to this point in the season. It's only week 5. So at some point, if this continues, if Josh Jacobs misses any time, I think Devontae Booker is going to end up being the running back that sees the majority of the touches there. Jalen Richard hasn't looked great in the running game, although he has been being used in the passing game. So is Devontae Booker. Devontae Booker broke a pretty nice run against the Kansas City Chiefs this last week as well. So I would imagine that Devontae Booker would be the running back to roster if Josh Jacobs were to miss any time. So make sure you have him on your radar. Keep him stashed if you have a deeper league, or if you currently roster Josh Jacobs, you should be handcuffing him with Devontae Booker. Same thing with Aaron Jones. You should be handcuffing him with Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams looked explosive on the Monday night game against the Falcons, had 8 catches on the day. Hasn't looked nearly as good as Aaron Jones, obviously, so you're hoping that Aaron Jones doesn't miss any time, because Jamal Williams would still be a significant downgrade from where Aaron Jones is from a production standpoint. That being said, Jamal Williams has shown in the past couple years that he is a very valuable asset in the receiving game, which is, again, what you want. I don't think A.J. Dillon is really showing the Packers anything right now. He's barely been able to work himself onto the field. Jamal Williams is clearly entrenched as the running back 2 there, and could even be worthy of a flex start based on how deep your rosters are going through the bye weeks, going through these injuries. If he's going to continue to see a decent share of targets there, then he's going to continue to be a valuable flex start. And if Aaron Jones goes down, he becomes a high-end running back too.